following video is scheduled for one fall and will determine the outcome of NXT Takeover Dallas. This is Here Is Your Winner, where we will predict which competitors will stand tall at an upcoming major wrestling event. And as you could have guessed, this time we are covering NXT Takeover Dallas. Now, the WWE Network exclusive NXT Takeover events are the only live shows in NXT's roster, and they happen every couple of months. They're basically the pay-per-views of NXT if you don't really follow that product particularly closely, and Dallas, as with every other takeover that's happened so far, aims to be a massive card with a lot of great matches, and it's going to be hard to blow through them pretty quickly. I'm excited for just about all of them, but we got to get through it. We got 6 matches to cover, and I'm going to try and do this as quickly and succinctly as possible, so let's get right down to the brass tacks. Now, the first match we're going to be talking about, I'm not even sure is actually happening, because everybody who went to the NXT tapings said that it's going to happen, and on the go-home show of NXT, they did a little vignette or like a moment on the show where they kind of hyped up to a potential match between these two competitors, but we're just going to go ahead and assume that it is happening, and that's Elias Sampson versus Apollo Crews. This is kind of a tough one to call because you got two guys who could both really use a win. Elias Sampson needs to beat somebody, you know, established in NXT to really establish himself as a serious competitor and sort of drive his way into the NXT title picture. Apollo Crews lost the last takeover to Baron Corbin, and he lost to Finn Balor on TV a few weeks back, and he really can't afford to lose, so you kind of have to speculate where they're going with the story at this point to predict this match, and because of that, I'm going to go ahead and make the bold decision that Elias Sampson will pick up the victory in this match on his very first takeover, and that's going to play into my wildcard prediction, which I'll get into later. Yeah, Crews could use the win right now to, you know, sort of up his status, but I think if Sampson loses at this juncture, for him, it would kind of kill the character, it'd kill the gimmick, and Sampson seems talented. I mean, the Drifter gimmick hasn't really connected with people super well, but I think he has what it takes. He's got the look, that's for sure, and I think he's pretty decent in the ring from what we've seen. Yeah, this could be a sleeper dark horse kind of match that could really steal the show, but I mean, you know, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to be going with Elias Sampson, the Drifter, on this one. Alright, the next match we're going to be taking a look at is Austin Aries versus Baron Corbin, the first of 2 major debuts here at NXT TakeOver Dallas. Now, Corbin's gimmick as of late has been that he is the indie killer, essentially. He takes on all of these guys who made their names on the independent scene, who are looking to leapfrog the pecking order in NXT, whereas Corbin came in with no wrestling experience whatsoever and has had to grind in the WWE's Performance Center and NXT for years now, and he hasn't really been afforded the opportunities he thinks he's earned. And in comes Austin Aries, who was the newest signee to NXT at the time, and Corbin had just had enough, and he's targeted him and attacked him straight from the get-go, which leads us to this match. Honestly, it sucks because I like Corbin a lot. I think Baron Corbin has gotten so much better compared to, like, I guess late 2014 when he was first showing up, and I think he deserves a win. I think he deserves a run with the NXT title sooner rather than later, but at the same time, this is sort of the same situation as the Elias Sampson match, where Aries is debuting. This is his first televised match with NXT, and he needs a win to establish himself as a big deal. So unfortunately, Corbin's going to lose here. I'm going with Austin Aries. It just kind of makes sense. I think this rivalry will probably continue and may even become a #1 contender for the NXT title sort of situation at some point, but for now, I see Aries winning the first match, and maybe somewhere down the line, Corbin will take match 2, lead to a rubber match, or maybe a #1 contenders match, who knows, but Aries on this one for sure. Next up, we have the NXT Tag Team Championship match. We have the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder taking on American Alpha, Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. This one seems pretty cut and dried. The Revival have had a really good heel run with the title since beating the Vaudevillains last year. They had a good feud with Enzo and Big Cass that got them a lot of heel heat, and I would say that American Alpha is probably the hottest thing in tag team wrestling in WWE right now, besides the New Day. And I think, you know, they're poised to become just as big as that if they're pushed correctly throughout NXT and then eventually to the main roster. So it's kind of a no-brainer situation here. You got to go with American Alpha. They deserve the win. They deserve to dominate the tag team division in NXT for a little while. They're 2 of my personal favorite wrestlers. I can't wait to see them finally pick up the titles, but hey, don't count out the Revival. They're really, really good. This match should be fantastic. Some of the best tag team wrestling we've seen in a long, long time, and I cannot wait to watch it. But I also cannot wait to see American Alpha take home the NXT Tag Team Gold. Alright, next we got another title match, the NXT Women's Championship. Bayley defends her title against Asuka. I really don't want Bayley to lose this match because Bayley is the best. I think we all can agree that Bayley is an awesome babyface, and she has the potential to be something huge for not just NXT but the WWE going forward. But I mean, let's look at the statistics here. Bayley's held the NXT Women's title since NXT Brooklyn, which was back in August. That's about 8 months, going on 8 months almost. And it's been a good reign. She has some great title defenses. Of course, the Iron Man match against Sasha Banks, even her match against Nia Jax at NXT London was pretty solid, all things considered. Again, I think the writing's on the wall with this one. I think the WWE want Bayley on the main roster sooner rather than later. She'd be a great opponent for Sasha or Charlotte or Becky in the soon-to-be redubbed women's division. And Asuka, we don't really know where her place is in WWE in the future. For all we know, NXT is her ceiling, and she's going to stay there to help develop all of the female talent coming in to be as good as they possibly can be, because Asuka is something else. And I think to really do that and start that, you have to have her win the title and sort of take control of the division. Without a doubt, I gotta say that it's Asuka's time. Dallas will become Asuka City. That's incredibly corny to say. I'm gonna go with Asuka on this one. It should be a great match, but I think Bayley's in for some punishment, and it's going to be a little hard to watch at some points if Asuka goes all out, but I can't wait to see it. Next up, the debut of the King of Strong Style. Sami Zayn takes on the newcomer to NXT, Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I'm just going to get this out of the way. Shinsuke Nakamura is my favorite wrestler performing today, and is in my mind the best all-around wrestler in the world. Nobody has the in-ring ability and the charisma that Shinsuke Nakamura has right now. He is on another level of talented. But at the same time, this match has a little bit of sadness to it because it's pretty much cut and dry. It's going to be Sami Zayn's final match in NXT. This is his send-off. And what better opponent to go out with than Shinsuke Nakamura? It's Nakamura's debut. He's the second debuting start this night. And you can't have him lose. You just can't. And I think this is going to be an awesome passing the torch in terms of when it comes to the face of NXT, or the heart and soul of NXT, as they like to call Sami Zayn, because I see Nakamura taking up that mantle with pride, and I'm so happy that he's going to be here in NXT and in WWE for a few years to come. So, without a doubt, Nakamura takes this one. And finally, to finish off the card, we have a rematch from NXT Takeover London for the NXT Championship. Finn Balor defends against Samoa Joe. Their first match in London was pretty awesome, and I expect them to pull out everything here for Dallas for WrestleMania weekend. The rumors going around, or the talk amongst the internet and all the insiders, is that essentially the loser of this match is going to be called up to Monday Night Raw the Monday after WrestleMania. They're going to join the main roster, and the loser, of course, will stay in NXT as champion. And with that being said, with all the stuff going on right now, the fact that Carl Anderson and Doc, or I guess now Luke Gallows again, are in WWE, they've started at the Performance Center, they're going to be there WrestleMania weekend, and the talk is that they might even be debuting at Mania. I can't see Balor retaining here again. Like Bayley, he's had the title for a really long time, since I think July at Beast in the East in Tokyo. He's had a great reign, a dominant reign, with a lot of fantastic title defenses, a lot of great moments, and I think we've even seen Finn Balor grow a bit as a competitor. But I think there needs to be a big moment to really end this takeover on, and Finn has not been defeated yet as the Demon, and he's certainly bringing the Demon to Dallas. So to me, it just makes sense. I think Finn's going to drop the title here to Joe. We'll see him on Sunday at Mania, wherever the Balor Club or Bullet Club or Bulletproof or whatever they decide to call him gets involved, and it's going to be awesome. It just makes more sense for Balor to get called up at this point to join the rest of the Balor Club instead of staying down in NXT and, still being champion. At this point, we need something new. We need something fresh. I love Samoa Joe. I think this is his time, and I think he could really, the entire brand of NXT would benefit from him being at the top for a little bit before he finally gets his run on the main roster. So it's going to be tough to call here, but I gotta go with Samoa Joe taking home the NXT Championship. And just for fun now, I've got a few extra bonus predictions, not really related to any particular match per se, but just to the night as a whole, what I think is going to be happening in terms of the general direction of NXT TakeOver Dallas, what I predict or foresee happening. So first off, best match of the night, I think it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. They're both going to put out all the stops for Nakamura's first match and Sami's last in NXT. I think this is going to be something special to behold, and I think a whole lot of people are going to become very big fans of Shinsuke Nakamura come Saturday morning, and I'm so excited to see him succeed here in the WWE. Biggest pop, now for people who don't know too much about wrestling, pop is the reaction that a wrestler gets at any given point in the night, whether they come out during their entrance or they do a move in the ring when the crowd cheers really loudly and passionately for that thing happening. That's a pop. Now, maybe this is me being biased, but I'm pretty sure the biggest pop on WrestleMania weekend at an NXT Takeover show is going to be for Shinsuke Nakamura's first entrance in the WWE in NXT. The crowd's going to be electric. It's just going to have a big feel to it because Nakamura just brings that to his matches. I can't help it. I mean, I'm a Nakamura mark, and what are you going to do? I'm a Markamura or something. I love the guy. And finally, we have the wild card prediction. This is something that pertains to a singular match, one match, that people might not see coming, but I think I get the vibe that it's going to be the direction they're going in. And for NXT TakeOver Dallas, my wild card prediction is that Apollo Crews is going to be turning heel after his match with Elias Sampson. Now, I don't think that necessarily means that Sampson will be turning face, but I think Crews is going to be frustrated that he cannot deliver and he cannot win in big match situations. We've seen it with Baron Corbin, we've seen it with Finn Balor, and now we're going to see it with Elias Sampson. Apollo is just going to snap. He's going to smash the Drifter's guitar somewhere, or he's going to blow off the fans or just look distraught. I think we're going to be seeing, if not the full heel turn, definitely the seeds of a heel turn for Apollo Crews, because he needs it. There's kind of too much of a white meat baby face right now. He needs to give himself an edge. And I think in NXT they're better at noticing that and knowing when to turn people. I think this is the right time to turn Apollo Crews, but that's just my opinion. Who knows? So anyway, those are my predictions for NXT TakeOver Dallas. I think they're pretty spot on. Maybe they're going to throw some curveballs at me, but the great thing about NXT is that while the booking is predictable, it's good booking. So even if you can see the end of a match coming from a mile away, it's still awesome because it's what you want to see happen. What are your predictions for NXT TakeOver Dallas? Are you leaning one way or another on certain matches? Do you think a certain thing's definitely going to happen? Do you think the Balor Club will be debuting here and not on the main roster at Mania or the night after? What do you think? Leave a comment here, tweet at me, at Ben A. Leonard. That link will be in the description. Let me know what you think is going to happen to TakeOver Dallas. This card, I mean, I don't want to overhype it, but it very, very well may overshadow WrestleMania, and that's I'm sure something that Vince McMahon would not like to hear, but it's just the fact of the matter. So that's it for the first episode of Here Is Your Winner, and I'm going to be returning again on Sunday with a special look at the WrestleMania 32 card and my predictions for that. I hope to see you then. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until then, thank you for tuning in.